How's it going, guys? Welcome to another episode of Staying Connected, where we explore the depths of self and the relationship of people around us through open and honest conversations. In order to bridge the gap, we want to uncover the differences, the similarities, the challenges, and the successes of these two dynamic relationships in order to achieve a better and more meaningful life. I'm Kenny.
And I'm Scott. Let's jump into it. So last episode, we discussed briefly on what was going on with Hawaii, especially during COVID. We share a little bit of tips of what we learned and what we struggle. So for this episode, we're going to jump into how it's affecting small businesses, how it's affecting distance learning, children, students, and adults themselves. So as you can see, we have transitioned to virtual. And why is that, Kenny? Can you give us a little insight on why?
Well, just to kind of prevent from all of this, this pandemic is just increasing with issues every single day. And yeah, making this transition to virtual has allowed us to be a part of that prevention of spreading the possible virus that's going on right now.
Yes, and we have a stay-at-home order, so we can't meet up in person. But no factor. We're still getting the show on the road. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to how COVID-19 has affected small businesses, which I'm going to let Kenny go into a little bit more, because that's more of his area. He has a lot more in-depth knowledge about that. So what have you seen so far, Kenny?
Well, basically, I like to say the word basically for some reason. But yeah, Hawaii itself has so many small businesses. We're up to like 100,000 something small businesses just here in the state. And for all of them to shut down with the recent government proclamation has been very hard for everybody, because you shut down, you don't make money. You don't make money, you have no business.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with all of these businesses shutting down, it's been very tough for consumers and these business owners. I love going to restaurants, and for them to shut down restaurants, dining in specifically, is another, action that the government wanted to push forward, because everybody's been going out recently, and yeah, we just seen the cases increase over time, and it's been increasing since the last week. And yeah, nowadays, I guess today marks the first day that we're in this government or in this stay-at-home order. So it's been pretty hard.
Yeah, so for businesses that are staying afloat or even killing it, like what changes have you seen them make? Like, or an example would be like going e-commerce or going online to sell their stuff, or building an app. Like, what have you seen like some businesses make changes to their existing operational business?
Well, for example, restaurants, they've been doing, or they switched over to doing takeout and delivery.
Mm-hmm.
But other small businesses like small boutiques or even small bakeries from their home kind of thing, they moved over to virtual. As we mentioned, e-commerce, all of that. And I guess we recently had the annual Made in Hawaii Festival, which normally brings thousands of people over to the Neil Blaisdell Center each year for about 3 days. But this year, it's been pretty different because everything has been pushed to online and virtual sales. And it's still been a great impact on these businesses to make money. And yeah, although it's a little bit different than going to the actual vendor, it's safer for everybody to just continue shopping online. And I feel like with Black Friday sales, holidays are coming up, that too might be impacted a lot.
It's gonna be Cyber Friday.
Yeah,
Friday to Monday. So what I've seen some businesses are like come from or start is from like Instagram, especially with the selling of masks and baked goods. So I'm just seeing a lot of like small businesses go through Instagram and fulfilling orders and going through there. It's they're crushing it. A couple of friends of mine, they've been creating a lot of mass businesses and selling awesome. Banana bread and such, and they've been doing very well, which prompts the question of like, why not do that full time? But then it becomes an issue of like, oh, insurance, and since they are still currently employed, they're doing that hand in hand, which is awesome to see. With every crisis, there's an opportunity that it's there to be grabbed. So, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, with the power of social media, you can pretty much do anything. You can sell whatever product you're trying to create. And yeah, I give it out to everybody that's trying to start their own business. And trying to be creative with this issue that's happening right now. Yeah, like you said, making masks, that's something that we all need. And for people to take initiative in making those, super helpful.
What I've also seen is the bigger businesses, or like the businesses that have built a great relationship with their customer base, or thriving even more, or better yet, still making a profit even during these times where everyone has to stay home. A good example of that would be Zippy's. They have a very, very good connection with like the people they serve. And have you used the Zippy's app?
Yes, Zippy's app is actually my go-to. It's interesting how they transitioned from in-face kind of business to virtual now, and it's been pretty convenient to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like their infrastructure, or whoever does their business operating strategy, it has done a stellar job. I see no slowing of their business. Every time I walk by Zippy's, it's always packed for people picking up food. Kudos to them. Any other small businesses you've seen use a little more creativity in order to get sales?
A lot of these fashion designers have been doing a lot of these virtual sales, and basically on social media, they've been just pumping things out daily and trying to get the message out that we're selling this and it's on sale kind of thing. And so everybody's been on that bandwagon, you could say.
Yeah, everyone's been hustling pretty hard. Another store that just popped into my head, which has been even before the pandemic hit, is Harbor's Vintage. I'm not sure if you heard about them, but they sell vintage clothing. They sell a lot of hype clothing like Supreme and Bathing Ape. But the owner, Eric, I think it's brilliant in his social media game, and the way I went to the store and the way he interacts with people, he makes them feel very welcome, makes them feel like they're at home, and he builds a relationship with every single person that walks in. Like from the moment they walk in to the moment they leave, like everyone leaves feeling very good. And for him, I see, even though like now a lot of people are going out, he's finding different ways to make money, like curbside delivery, sending out mail. If you want to buy something and you can't try it on, just DM him, and you can reserve that order. So many different options for people to, especially for small business owners. It's like this is the time to be really, really creative and to see what you're capable of.
Yeah, I mean, I recently picked up these empanadas that nobody really knew about until they popped up on social media. And I guess talking to that business owner, they haven't done any social media till now. It's because they needed that extra push, so they turned over to any social media platform they could, and started selling. And that's how I found out about them. And since then, everybody's been trying to contact them. So it's been pretty convenient for everybody to hop on their phone, desktop computer, whichever, and just buy because yeah, it's just easy.
Yeah, the network effect is so real, especially in Hawaii, since it's a very small island. Just having one person share a post of yours, and that can easily translate to like 3 or 5 people sharing it, and eventually you have like a pretty big following. So it's pretty special to see like the aloha, especially in here.
Yeah,
like,
it's the word of mouth.
Businesses.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's one thing about Hawaii. It's the word of mouth, and once somebody tries something and they say it's great, they end up posting it on their social media, and then everybody knows about it. And that's how just businesses thrive.
Like a social media page that I really like is Come Eat Hawaii. Can you tell us a little more about that, Kenny? About like spreading different foods and news about like different businesses.
Well, I mean, in addition to my passion for eating and eating as much as I can, I also like to learn more about all these dishes, the importance of why people make it, and the inspiration and what ingredients go into these dishes. Yeah, it's something that we all should know, and because Hawaii is such a melting pot, it's a great opportunity for everybody to learn about different cultures, including your own. For example, myself, being Filipino, not knowing too much about Filipino culture, and this Come Eat Hawaii project has opened the door for me to learn a lot of more Filipino cultural traditions that I never really knew about. And it's been pretty successful so far, and I can't wait to see how it'll unfold later on.
Yeah. I'm learning with you. So every time you go out and you share like the history and like what goes behind each product, it's like I'm learning with you. I'm right there. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's so cool to learn about the history about everything and why they made it and such.
Yeah, like even hearing those comments really impact just the way I feel, because we all want to hear these comments, and yeah, any sort of positive type of feedback helps anybody succeed in what they want to do. And for me to go out to these small businesses, restaurants specifically, and kind of write about their food, it's actually helping them, and they feel appreciated on just the whole write-up, from my experience talking with all of them.
The
it makes me feel good.
Kenny. The people's champ. No,
they feel good, and I feel good.
Yeah, these businesses, they need all the support they can, and if we do have the funds and the time for it, please support your local businesses.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just I'm getting some thoughts about doing our podcast virtually like this. So far, do you have any like thoughts about like how you're feeling about this? Is it any different as like in person talking? So I have some few thoughts, but I wanted to hear yours just as a side note.
Yeah, I mean, I like it virtually, but I do miss our very first episode where we were sitting in the same room. But it's just to help with the current issue that we're dealing with right now, and yeah, we're utilizing technology to its full potential. And of course, we have technical difficulties every now and then, but we're still making it happen. Being able to adapt to these changes has allowed us to grow and ultimately benefit from all these challenges.
Definitely. Imagine back in the day where like you couldn't meet up. Oh, okay, we'll just
I know.
Wait, we just gotta wait. But now it's like no excuse. You just gotta do it. But for me, it's like I understand why humans are such social creatures, and the factors that go into being sociable. It's like having that proximity, being close to someone, like being able to touch them, being able to like see them in person, like that is just what makes social interactions just so much better as compared to online.
I mean,
for me,
it's kind of like regardless. It's kind of like a a long distance relationship where you just have
I know all about that.
video calls and that's it. Yeah, so I guess we feel kind of the same way, and yeah, we're just making use of it, and it's been working well so far.
Stay connected no matter what, right?
Yeah, we're connected to Wi-Fi, and we're just connected in general.
Connected in general, in every single way possible.
Yes.
Awesome. So that's been good, learning about the different businesses during COVID. But let's go to another area where people are also affected by COVID, and that's learning during COVID, especially distance learning. Have you heard anything about like distance learning challenges for like students, for teachers?
Yeah. Well, I recently kind of did like a survey on my social media for parents specifically, asking them how they felt about distance learning, whether or not if they liked it or not, or they thought it was tough. Majority of them thought it was very tough because, yeah, if you have a job, if you're a single parent, it's gonna be challenging because you have children to take care of, but at the same time you can't take care of them because you have your job.
Exactly.
And, yeah, so as of now, a lot of people have been having challenges. For college students, some of my friends are college students doing distance learning right now. They still feel that it's a lot of them really miss being in class and that one-to-one interaction with their professor is something that they all really want to have right now. And to be all online is going to be challenging for now.
Anything over an hour on like online is just brutal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine the little kids going online. Like, as a kindergarten teacher, how are you supposed to keep their attention? When they all want to move around, they all it's hard for them to pay attention. So,
yeah.
An interesting thing that I've seen is for kindergarten and preschool below, they're allowing them to go in to class and to do in person, of course limited, of course. I found it very interesting because for middle schools and high schools, everybody is online. I'm not sure how private school is doing it, but for public school, everybody's online. But for preschool and kindergarten, they're allowing some kids to do in person, which begs the question of, since these are like growing children, shouldn't they do more online classes because their immune system isn't as developed as someone that's like 10 to like 14 years old?
Yeah, I mean it's been tough for a lot of families because a lot of families might not have the technology to have these distance learning classes. So yeah, it ties back into like all the funding, and yeah, I mean Hawaii has a very high unemployment rate, so a lot of people have been dependent on these allowances from the government. So yeah, having distance learning has been a challenge.
No, that's a very interesting perspective on like funding. It's like you never really think about it because you assume every single school should supply their students with iPads and computers and laptops and whatnot. But the matter of fact is like some schools don't get that funding. And then now how is that student supposed to learn? That puts them, especially during this year and next year, it puts them at a major disadvantage because they can't learn the same as the other students.
Yeah.
So how would you bridge that gap? Like what would you recommend to those students that don't have those funds, or families that don't have that fund to
Yeah, I mean, doing a little bit of research, I do know that there are some places like these co-working spaces where students that don't have technology at home, or like this advanced technology at home, they can go to these spaces and do distance learning. So there are resources out there. I'm not sure exactly how big of a space they can fill, but they are providing co-working spaces specifically for kids kindergarten through 12th grade. And as a parent, I would take advantage of that. We'll try to have more information on that available.
Because then for me, if that was my situation, like the first thought would be to like go to a library, but obviously library are closed. So probably the next thing I would do is email a teacher, and then like maybe that can go up to the principal and just explain my situation. Because I think a lot of times people just accept the fact as it is, and it's kind of like I'll relate it to COVID is like some people, they take COVID like, oh my goodness, I'm unemployed, I can't do anything, I just gotta wait it out. And then you see some people, it's like, okay, it happened, I'm unemployed, it is what it is, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read books, I'm gonna learn online on these free classes, I'm gonna keep developing my skills. So now is really a time for people, including students, adults, teachers, to be super or double down on being really proactive with your learning. As best as you can. Even if you don't have a computer, you still have a mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of room to educate yourself on anything, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, so going back to parents just having a tough time, a story I recently asked my sister-in-law, because she's been doing distance learning. So she told me that she doesn't have any more me time, because basically when her son is doing the classes, she has to be there to make sure, okay, he's getting the materials that he needs. He needs to do this, he needs to do that. So in a way, she's like a teacher herself. You're being the teacher to the teacher. So it's basically a full-time job. You're just not getting paid. And you have to provide lunch. You have to provide snacks. And you have to keep motivating them. So it's been real tough. I can't imagine what it's like to be a single parent working from home and having to help your kid. One of my friends said that like her neighbor is just going bonkers because she has to do that. And I don't know how they do it. It's moms are just or like single parents or moms and dads.
Single parents, for real. It all ties back into like mental health as well. Like, is your mindset just going berserks with everything going on? So I give it up for all of these single parents that are trying their best to educate their kids while balancing their own lives as well. It's...
Let me flip it back to you. Okay, let's say you're a single parent and you have a kid that needs to do distance learning and you're working from home. Okay, what's your game plan?
Game plan? I mean, I have no game plan. It's just...
learn on the fly.
Pretty much learn on the fly. There's gonna be challenges, whatever corner of the house, kind of thing. You're gonna have, it's a puzzle piece, figuring out just different tasks. As kind of mentioned in our last podcast, we kind of set time for our daily tasks and try to prioritize what's important. But as a single parent, if I was in that position, your children is going to be priority, because they're going to be home.
You made a
day.
Very good point about priority. Very, very good point. If that was me, I would do exactly as you said, like prioritize. I gotta sit down, breathe a little. Remember how we talked about like taking a step back? Because if you're so engrossed into the problem or the situation, you can't see the big picture. So what I would do is definitely take a breather, step back a little bit. Okay, what's my priority? Okay, first of all, making sure my kid needs to do whatever they need to do. Second of all, doing the work that I need to do in order to pay the bills. And third of all, make sure that I'm not going crazy. So the first thing would be, I think I would let my boss know if I'm working from home. Is, hey boss, I got to teach my kid this and this. I have to be a full-time teacher. I'm just letting you know what's going on. So then the boss can be like, okay, thank you for letting me know. But that way they can empathize with you more and not like, hey, you missed the deadline, and and to tell your boss, hey, at this time and this time, I'm working on the assignment that you assigned to me, and I'm helping my kid. So I might not be as responsive during this time, but after my kid is done with school, yes, I'll reply to emails, I'll call you back and such. Letting your boss know what's going on. So communication is super key.
Yeah.
Second of all, if your kid is old enough, if they're not old enough to understand, then you gotta work with what you got. But communicating with your kid as well. It's like, here's what we're gonna do. If you have a schedule, great. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Basically, run over the game plan with them, because at the end of the day, they're still a part of your team. And you can't exclude the kid just because they're a kid. You gotta bring them on the board, communicate. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna be to school to this time. Okay, have fun, do your best. I'm gonna still be here, but I'm still gonna work on my job because I want to pay bills. I want to buy you toys. I want to buy you food and such. And explain that to them. Make sure everyone's on the same team. And then third of all, prioritizing mental health and just giving yourself time to like breathe or just walk around, clear your head. Like if you have a friend or parent, that can watch the kid for you, great. If not, tell your kid, hey, can you just chill somewhere or give them a toilet paper for 10, 20 minutes and just have time for yourself. I think that's so important. A lot of parents, they're just like, oh, kid, work, and they don't give time for themselves. They forget about that, and eventually they burn out. So please do give yourself time to de-stress. I know that might not be a priority because you need to make money, you need to get these things in order, but you gotta take care of yourself first in order to take care of other people.
Exactly. You're ready for parenthood, sir.
No. I want to travel, Kenny. I want to travel.
But I mean, tying into what you said, just setting your priorities straight, and depending on how many kids you have, or just having one kid can make a difference, especially trying to do all this distance learning that a lot of these families are doing right now. It's give it up to them.
Mm-hmm. And then we can say a lot of stuff, but it is in fact a lot harder than it is. But make it a little bit easier on yourself by having a game plan. It's better than nothing. You're just freestyling. By having a game plan or some kind of structure, you're able to lessen the stress on you, because what's going on. It's kind of like, it's like going to like a football game and you have no plays. You just tell your receiver, say, run somewhere, I'll throw it to you. It's even though your plays might not work, it's something if option A doesn't work, you go to option B.
Then you go option B.
Yeah. And then you go option C, that doesn't happen. And if everything fails, at least you have something. And then maybe if you need to freestyle, you can freestyle. But have a little structure just to help yourself out.
Yeah, and then it does go back to all these small businesses just trying to find plan A, plan B, plan C, setting up that game plan. And so everybody's been adjusting to these challenges and trying to make these game plans that we all really need in life.
I agree. So for adults themselves, that have like a tough time, like I mentioned about like they don't have time for like improving themselves, or like they're stuck in this mindset of what can I do? Do you have any like tips? And I know we mentioned this briefly in the previous podcast, but is there any other like tips that you want to provide to them on like how to take advantage during this pandemic?
I mean, mental health is key. Trying to make sure that you take care of your mental wellness. Go into different resources. I know a lot of people have been doing telehealth, which is just being able to communicate with your doctor via smartphone or your computer. So that's been quite an advantage for a lot of people. So you don't have to go out and sit in these doctor's office. You can just sit in the comfort of your very own home. So mental wellness is key. Working out as much as you can. And now that we have the shutdown, gyms are closed or they're closed again. And now
2 weeks they're open up.
We'll see how that turns out after 2 weeks. So being creative at home, figuring out your routines, and picking up new hobbies here and there, fixing up the house, or find something that you're passionate about, and use this time to focus on building yourself as much as you can.
And I like what you said about telehealth. I wasn't thinking about that. That's a very good point. Like just venting to someone is so underrated. A lot of times we hold a lot of things inside our head, and it collects and it fumes, and then you burn out and you just implode. Like even if it's a friend, or like even if it's telehealth, it's always good to just talk to another person, because we are humans and we need to interact with others. I think daily, whether briefly or a long conversation like this is so good for the mental health. And I don't know, because some people are just so entangled with so many different things. It's just I don't think they saw that as an option, but there are a lot of options for people, to vent, and like you say, work out, and possibly later down the road we can talk about our workout plans and our recommendations, because we're pretty fit, if I may.
Here we go. At home workout.
You gotta take a step back. My goodness. Like today, for example, like things are just hectic at work, and we're just doing day-to-day stuff, and eventually you get wear out.
How's your day? How was your day, by the way?
Oh, thanks for asking. It was very hectic. It was very hectic. It's just constant moving. But I took the advice. Of course, we want to practice what we preach, and I don't want to be that one guy that says a lot of good things and then they don't do any of it. So I definitely took a step back. Like I went to the bathroom and I took a good deep breath. I recollected myself, and then we went back to, I started thinking, what else do I need to know? What else is important? What else is priority? And for me, that was making sure my fellow staff members, like just checking in with them to see, hey, how are you doing? Like, I just want to make sure you're okay. Am I providing you with enough resources or assistance to make sure you're doing your job well? Or is there anything that you want to vent to me about? Because I know this is tough times for everybody. So, sometimes you get caught up in the day-to-day activities that you forget about the people doing those activities for others. So just stepping back, being human, just checking in, like checking with my coworkers. It was like a 2-minute conversation, but I learned something that allowed me to take actionable steps for tomorrow and the rest of the week.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea because, for me personally as well, I have a huge team, but sometimes it's kind of too many people to watch over and just kind of catch up with. So every now and then I would try to reach out to somebody I haven't talked to in a while and just ask them how you're doing. Even that simple question, like how's everything going, it goes a long way, because everybody needs that support. And thankfully, for my job, it's kind of like the door is open for you to just share your thoughts. And the leadership at my job, fortunately, is is awesome. And yeah, just being able to share how I feel, especially during this time being at home, is quite helpful and healthy.
I think that's a very important thing. Just checking in, and especially it goes beyond just workplace coworkers. They can be friends, people that you haven't talked to in a long time. And a lot of times, like reconnecting with people, you kind of like need an excuse. But now there's no excuse. It's like everyone is somewhat affected by COVID-19. So you don't even need an excuse. You can be like, hey, just wanted to check in on you. How are you doing? And I think for some people, they won't say it, but it means the world to them. So please, like, maybe this can be a challenge, like just reach out to one person, just check in how they're doing.
Yeah.
So one thing,
I think, that's what we want to kind of encourage, is to just try to reach out to somebody, whether it's a coworker, an old friend, see how they're doing. You never know. It's, it's the relationship you kind of want to blossom into something bigger. So we've been doing that a lot with our other friends as well.
Yeah.
And not only helps them, but helps us just reconnect and stay connected.
Connected. Very nice. One tip that I like to give is that, for especially Instagram, they have like the reaction for their story. So then you can put like a clapping emoji as a response. So if anyone ever like responds to me through like an emoji, that gives me the incentive, like, hey, how you doing? So then them reacting to my story is like them knocking on the door. So all I need to do is like open the door and be like, hey, how you doing? It's been a while. Or like, is everything cool? Or like, how's everything?
Let's just hope they continue the conversation like that.
But even if they don't, do it for yourself. Like check in on people. Like even if they're like good, that's fine.
Yeah, it's something. It's
you tried.
It's better than nothing. Yeah.
The goal is to do your best. Even if you don't get the favorable result. Yeah. It's just about trying. Being human. That's all. It's trying.
Yeah. Like for me on my Commit Hawaii's Instagram, I have these strangers just commenting or messaging about whatever photos I post, and that's how it kind of sparks like the whole relationship. And I've never met these people. I don't know how they look like, but they've made that approach, or I've made that approach, and now we're just connecting as much as we can through
IG buddies.
Yes.
And it pays off in the future. Maybe they can recommend a spot to you. It's like, hey, and let's say, for example, you're like, in the future, you're like, hey, I'm in Denver, anyone can recommend something. And it's those same people that you connected with years ago. Be like, hey, try this spot from Denver. It's a local favorite that no one really knows about. It's like, boom, a connection you made years ago. It's like coming back. It goes round circle.
Yeah,
and then when that person is in like Hawaii, you can be, hey.
Yeah, it's vice versa. You can help out.
Exactly. It's just mutual helping. That's so awesome.
Yes.
So many ways to take advantage of the opportunities during these times. But let's go ahead and go to the recommendation of the week.
Awesome.
What do you have for us?
Right. Okay, so normally I would try to do like quotes and all that, but switching it up with a song.
A song.
Yes. So let me just, I'm not going to play it, but I'm just going to kind of share a little bit more about it. It's from it's written by one of my favorite artists called Common Kings. They're a local Hawaiian, they don't live here, but they're like from California, I believe.
Right.
They recently debuted a new song called Happy Pill. And what Happy Pill talks about is just a reflection of the main guy, or the singer. He's talking about his daughter and just reflecting on the current situations that we've been dealing with these days. Whether it's these Black Lives Matter protests, COVID, all of that, it's kind of like sending a message to his daughter saying that, whatever troubles you're dealing with, I'll be here for you. And I feel like we all need that. So the song is called Happy Pill. Try to listen to it when you can. And there's also a music video, which is also touching as well. It was my first time watching it today. I should have done like a reaction video, but I didn't.
Maybe we need to do a YouTube reaction channel.
Yes, we will. It's in the making. But yeah, nice. Listening to the song and hearing the lyrics and also watching the video kind of hit the heart a bit, just to reflect on whatever's been happening recently, and which is still continuing. So at the end of the day, we just have to take care of our mental health, as I mentioned, which leads me to, just providing some resources for people. After doing some research locally, there is a website called Mental Health Hawaii for anybody that's having a downtime, or just anybody that needs somebody to talk to for support, or just to boost up their mental wellness. This is a good resource to reach out to. As we mentioned, telehealth, that's also something that they provide as well. So mentalhealthhawaii.org is where to go.
Very nice. And please reach out to us if you need someone to talk to. We might be strangers, we might be friends, or we might not know a lot about each other, but we're here to listen, and that's what staying connected is all about. Like, just learning each other's stories, and me and Kenny are great listeners. You did.
Yes, I love to listen.
Now you know.
Because we're here for you.
Yeah, for sure. We're a community. Will we see a cover on your Instagram page on that? I'd love to hear a cover.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, the melody itself is quite intriguing, but then the lyrics just hit hard. Yeah, so try to listen to it after we call.
I will.
Happy Pill by Common Kings.
Awesome.
Yes. How about you, Scott? What's your recommendation?
Okay. My recommendation is a small section on the book I'm currently reading. I mentioned in the last podcast, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. He's basically a Holocaust survivor. And in the book, he dictates the details of like his experiences and what he's feeling as he's going through, the evil atrocities that Nazi Germans did to him and his people. There's this one part that kind of spoke to me. There's this part about him talking about, even as you're in camp, you're malnourished, you're tired, you're sick. He would trade food for like razor blades so he can like shave himself. Why is that? Because he wants to stay as young as possible and look as presentable as possible. And the reason you want to look young and presentable as possible is you want to keep working. Because if you look like you're sick and old, they're gonna pretty much kill you. So what I got from that was always stay ready, always stay presentable, because when there's an opportunity or if there's a chance of something, you're gonna be ready to pounce on it. So whether that's the building your skills, making sure you when you do interviews like this or when you talk to people, always develop your skills. Hold yourself to a different standard than other people, and don't let yourself stray off the path. It's one of the biggest factors. But can you imagine, starving, working, God forbid, 18, 20 hours a day, living in these unsanitary conditions. And one of the thoughts in his head is, I gotta stay presentable. I gotta stay ready. And that just speaks, volumes to me. Because I am having it great. I don't have any excuse to not be presentable. I don't have any excuse to not be professional and do my job and help people to the best of my abilities. So That's one of my biggest takeaways. I'm not done with the book yet. I'm pretty sure I'll learn some very powerful lessons. But for people listening, stay ready, especially during COVID, because you don't know what's gonna happen, and they may call you for an interview or something like that. You gotta stay ready, stay sharp, no matter what.
I like it. I mean, yeah, just kind of touching on what you just shared right now. Yeah, everybody has different backgrounds, and you never know a person until you get to know them. You read his story, and just hearing about the shaver and all that, staying clean, it really means a lot, because yeah, I mean, for him, that was his way of staying ready. So everybody has their way of staying ready, and with all these challenges happening right now, yeah, you just have to stay up to date and get ready for what's ahead of us.
Stay ready and gotta get ready.
There we go.
Awesome. So let's wrap it up. This has been a great conversation.
Yeah, thanks again for tuning into our podcast. We hope that you had some takeaways. I know that I got some takeaways. Scott, hope you as well.
For sure.
Yeah, there's always an opportunity to learn, and for us to be helping you as much as we can is grateful for us. And we're in the comfort of our very own home doing it. And yeah, we can't wait to just share more ideas and share how we feel about everything that's going on. Scott, any final words before we head on out?
I love doing these podcasts with Kenny. Just learn so much every single time, and we keep pushing each other to get better and better. And we hope we provide you with valuable content, so then you can keep pushing yourself and getting better yourself. And yeah, let's continue to stay connected. Together.
Yep, gathering, growing together. Continue to do it wherever you go, anywhere, anytime, and we'll see you again soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace out, everyone.